Your favorite couples here so easily accessible. Grab your headphones, hit play, turn up the decibel. Master of the pod like a young Skywalker. Shout out to homie Yoda, cause great are we talkers. The crew is firm, so it's love to AZ. You signed the Tempe. Score some competition simply. Sure to get you high like some true West Coasters. Look at the flick of the wrist. One guard named Leviosa. LA is always sunny. Comic-Con with honeys. Pokemon and Dunny. Sneaker hype, be sticking money. And Rachel rolls her eyes and see Lee made it funny. Time flies and now my flux capacitor is running. You not rocking with us, you like a muggle wizard, see. Just stupefy yourself with the wave of wizardry. Like Mario standing still and the left's a moving screen. A world full of nerds, but only two nerdly. Don't be sure you ever heard, just see it will be. A drum like an infectious beat. We complete they like when the short and long hand meet. Cause we the nerdlies, the nerdly. All we don't be sure you ever heard, just see it will be. A drum like an infectious beat. We complete they like when the short and long hand meet. Cause we the nerdlies, the nerdly.
Hello and welcome to the Nerdlies. I am Chris.
I'm Rachel.
Hi everybody. How are you? How are you doing? Hopefully you're good. Hopefully your lungs are clear. It is it is very smoky around here.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't been outside because it's been so hot, but I know that it's smoky in the area. There's a lot of fires going on. I know there's a lot of fires going on in different areas and stuff like that to add to our
This has just been
never-ending
heck of a year, if I can just say. Heck of a year.
Our never-ending litany of things.
Yeah, and I'm just not going to tempt fate by saying anything other than, it's been a year. It's been a year. Yeah.
Because every time you say anything,
half
it's
the
like,
country is on fire, so it's like, we're already feeling it, you know?
Yeah.
Now we might as well make it literally on fire.
But
I mean, it happens every year, but this is like especially bad, like because the heat has just been like.
And can I just
nuts.
say, I know that I don't think it's a controversial opinion, but one of the bigger fires out here started because of a gender reveal party.
Yeah.
And can I just say that those parties are stupid?
Yeah. Well, like, okay, so first of all, the parties are like, it's whatever. Like, if you want to make that part of your baby shower or whatever.
Yeah.
Fine, I'm not against it, but like when you make it like so extravagant, like I like just do a cake or something. Like you don't need to do fucking smoke bombs.
If you're gonna do something
or like
not
something or else ridiculous. Like I've seen at other ones that I won't mention because I don't want to make people upset. But but I'm just saying, like. Yeah.
Because there are ones that you see on the internet that aren't like, they won't impact anyone environmentally, but sometimes people get hurt. There's like one where like the guy was supposed to hit a baseball and the baseball was supposed to explode or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he hit the baseball and it like hit his wife. It's like, come on, man. Like this is not just do the cake.
Yeah.
The cakes are easy. The cake or a cupcake, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
At least that's edible.
Yeah, it's like exactly. It's like you get a color and you get whatever.
As long as you don't like make a cake for someone who's like lactose intolerant or something like that, it's not really gonna hurt anybody.
And like I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a weird concept to me because like I'm never gonna have kids, but like if that were something I were to do, I think I wouldn't want to know. Like I would just be like, yeah, whatever. Like whatever it is, just I'll love it. It's awesome,
Yeah.
Or you find out the day of, like that's the whole thing. It's like
that would be pretty good. You know what?
Yeah.
I think the only reason you find out is because you want to get like, I mean, not that it matters even.
But that's the thing is like, especially now, like nowadays, like it shouldn't be important ever, but like it used to be more important, because like you gotta get the right color thing for the boy or the girl, but like now it's like.
And plus, they're going to be wearing onesies for
exactly.
a whole year and a half.
Yeah.
It's not going to matter.
No.
Like, they're going to be wearing
literally,
diapers.
like, they're like, I don't give a fuck what color it is. As long as it's clean, put it on that fucking baby. Like, that's like all that's literally all that I would be thinking. Oh, does it smell like shit? No? Okay. Yeah.
Put it on that baby.
Put it on that baby.
We're going outside.
Do I have to pay for it? No? Put it on that baby. I don't care. As long as it doesn't have some offensive statements on it, I'm totally fine with it. But like, I don't know. It's just like I said, it's such a foreign concept because like, it shouldn't matter, first of all. I mean, it's, it is fun to know, like, oh, there's a boy or a girl in there or whatever. But like, it's like, in the end, it doesn't matter. Like,
No.
it's a person, and it'll be coming out of your vagina, and it's gonna suck. And so why don't you just have fun partying and don't worry about it?
Yeah. Go have your beer drinking parties out of bottles and have fun at the baby shower.
Yeah.
There are some funny. I do find some baby shower games to be fun. But like, especially right now, like, why are you throwing?
But yeah,
anything
that's
like,
the second thing is it's like, okay, that was stupid. Like, why are you using fucking smoke bombs for a gender reveal? Number 2, why are you having a fucking party? Like, I just can't. Like, every time I see stuff about these like parties and shit, I'm just like, are you just not on the same planet as we are? Like, are you not cognizant of anything? Like, it's crazy. It's a crazy time.
Anyway, off the soapbox for a little bit. We are a nerd show. Gender reveal parties aren't really a nerdy thing, but yeah, we just wanted to say that.
But that's why the wildfires are starting. So
Yes.
we're just saying, don't be stupid.
As Philip DeFranco would say. Yeah. Yes. One of the cooler things I saw this week, just as we go through some of the news bits, The Princess Bride, obviously a very heralded and beloved movie. They did a special thing recently of like other actors doing the scenes and doing the whole movie for like a charity event, I believe. But they are actually getting the entire original cast to do a table read of the Princess Bride. Obviously, without Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant has passed away, and a couple other people I think from the movie. Well, I know. What's his name? Well, he wasn't in the movie. Carl Reiner passed away.
Oh yeah.
But
but Rob Reiner directed the original film.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they gotten the original cast to come back. They're gonna do a charity event, a kind of a charity event. I think it's gonna be live on live stream though. You can donate for it, and it'll all go to the Democratic. The Democrats in like Wisconsin or something like that to help in that campaign. But yeah, I'm really excited to see them back together again and get them to be those characters again because those are so iconic.
Oh my god, yeah. Like,
anytime you can get Carrie Elves and Robin Wright,
like Billy Crystal, like we're so blessed that he's still on this earth because he's a fucking legend. Like, he's just amazing. Yeah, I love that. Love that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what that's gonna be like because I'm sure it's gonna be emotional for them. I mean, sure, like they've hung out, like some of them have seen each other and something like that. But like for them to be all together at one time,
it's fucking dope.
That's really cool.
It's so cool.
There's something about it. Like I'm excited.
It's like watching the Lord of the Rings reunion. Like, it was so
Yes.
cute. Like, just seeing them all like interacting and stuff again is like so cute.
Yeah, getting to see them, and then we
Scott
love the Scott
Pilgrim.
Pilgrim
Yeah, oh my
one.
God, yeah.
They've done a couple of them that are just fantastic. And that's the one thing that like it's really cool that people have a little bit more free time at this point because now you're not really working on projects so much. I mean, sure, there's a ton of people who are working on projects, but like you can have these like little reunions because there is a little bit less busy. Like you can slow down a little bit and go back and find these people and work into their schedules these events. So I'm amped. I have to see what they're gonna do. Another random news bit that was just hitting the thing that I guess the Batman. Well, obviously we're very excited for the Batman with Robert Pattinson by Matt Reeves.
Yes.
They went back to filming, but immediately got shut down because Robert Pattinson got COVID. So hopefully, wish him a speedy recovery and everything. But yeah, that's very sad to me that like you go back to work and then that's the thing. Like you really need to take care of yourself because it could happen to anyone. Really.
Yeah, and like that's like I said, that's why it's just so frustrating to me that like, like it just mainly just that everyone's in such a rush to get back to normal, quote unquote, when like people don't realize that like we are still a long way off from that, and like
also that it whatever normal was maybe not the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of it at least. Like there are countries that have normalized wearing masks, most of the Asian countries actually, and normalized wearing masks when you're feeling sick, and that might be something that we need to be doing because it's just something that's courteous to others, and keep yourself safe and all that stuff. So I don't know. I think it's interesting that that people do think that like they don't need to be as safe, and it's a little bit of fatigue.
Yeah.
You know, like we've been doing it for a while. You'd think it'd be, handled by now, but it's just not.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I totally get it and I feel it. Like I wish that the world wasn't the way it is, but like, at least I can understand like why this is necessary.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to sacrifice some of my own comfort for the livelihood of my fellow man. And that's something that not a lot of Americans think about, I think. Because they're too concerned about themselves and their money and yeah.
Okay.
Mainly that,
well,
but yeah.
we've been on the soapbox for like 10 minutes, so we'll go. It's important. It's normal.
It's just like it's like this is what we're dealing with like every single day.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to not talk about it.
It's really hard not to talk about it, especially when big like even especially when people who you would think have the most resources to not get sick, to be the most safe, like
and probably was, but someone one of the crew members or whoever,
either he or someone else got infected, and he got infected too because he was near them. So, and then you hear stuff like The Rock and his whole family got infected as well. And it's like, man, these people have, I don't know, they have the resources to not have it happen.
Yeah.
Not that it's fair that they have way more money and more resources than we do, but the reality of right now is that because of their status and their money, they do have more resources to stay cleaner, get tested more often, all that type of stuff. And you would think that would help, but it's clearly did not. It clearly did not. But anyway, moving on. I did want to talk about a game that we played recently because we love these point and click adventure games. We talked about After Party last time. And you found this game called There Is No Game, Wrong Dimension. And it's a fun little experience. Like, if you haven't played these types of games, it kind of, like, messes with your traditional gaming style. You kind of have to figure out mental puzzles. They give you some word clues in here and there. But what would you say, like, did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was pretty darn good? I don't know.
I did enjoy it. Like, kind of like, most of the games I've played lately, like, there's, I guess I'm always, like, holding games, like, and these adventure games up to these gold standards that I have for, like, really amazing games, like Undertale and Stanley Parable and Myst and Riven and all those games and stuff. And I know that they're not all going to be, like, masterpieces. And granted, like, everything we've played lately has been very ingenious, very, like, creatively beautiful, and, like, with, the graphics and everything. But there's been some, like, lulls in the story, and, like, so that was the only thing that, like, I did like the game. There were just puzzles that sometimes didn't really make a whole lot of sense. And, like I said, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, that, like, I don't mind if a puzzle is difficult as long as it's logical and I can figure it out. Yeah. Like, that's bottom line. Because, like, in Myst, like, it's not, like, spoon-fed to you, but, like, it's pretty much, like, it's, you have these set things and you're like, okay, so to figure out how to do this, I know I have to do this and this and this. Because it's, they kind of set it up for you in a way that you'll naturally discover it. And then it leads to the next thing. It leads to the next thing. And you're never just sitting there going like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And unfortunately, the last couple games that we've played, it has been kind of like that. Like, where we've gotten to these points where we're like, okay, like, nothing logically makes sense. Like, how would I have known that this was going to happen? I mean, the one thing I will say about this game is it has a hint system built into it, which is nice. So if you do get stuck, then, but that's the thing, is I feel like I got stuck a lot and had to use it quite often. But another helpful thing is that they do give you the narrator does give you clues, like little hints. And that's the thing too, is like sometimes the hints were like too much. And I was like, okay, yeah, I was already getting there. You didn't have to like throw it in my face. So it's like, I don't know. Like but it's a hard, it's a hard line to walk. I'm sure. Like I've never made a puzzle game before, so I have no idea how
that's
intricate that is. But like, yeah, I don't know. I just wish that there was a little bit more. There were a lot of logical puzzles in it, but there weren't enough where like, and some of the puzzles were just like overly tedious, and I was just kind of like,
yeah, there was a section where you had to click from one screen to another, flip things around, and all that type of stuff. It makes it a little bit more difficult to handle the puzzle. But like you said, I think the dialogue was really good. It was a really funny, like fun story. It was very not as much Stanley. I mean, it's kind of elements of Stanley Parable, right? Because you do have to go against what the narrator's trying to tell you, because it's constantly trying to tell you there is no game, but clearly there is like those elements. So you kind of have that little bit to it.
Yeah, I definitely always appreciate a game that is breaking the fourth wall because it's always just fun.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun.
Yeah. So you're like, he's actively being like, don't click on that, don't click on that. Of course you're going to click on it. So you're just like spam clicking. You're like, what do I do to fuck this up? But then it's kind of fun because you can play it in, different ways and stuff like that. So
yeah. And I love games that have slightly different endings. There are 2 endings that we got. I don't know if there are any others somehow, but I don't think there are.
Yeah, I have to look it up and see.
But it was pretty great. I liked it a lot. I think it was especially for the first half. Because then it gets a little tedious there in the third quarter of the game, and then it gets fun again because you're leading to the end, like to wrap up the story of the game. But yeah, like the first half of the game is very intriguing because like it's just very, there's just a lot of fun little puzzles that you can kind of figure out on your own, and all that interesting tools, interesting ways to present a puzzle solving game, so to speak. So. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think it had a lot of little elements that were really interesting because they kind of combine different gaming styles. There's definitely like a Legend of Zelda rip off that was really, really funny because it kind of like poked fun at it, but it was also like very well done. They made the music sound good, they made the sound effects very good to where it was like, oh yeah, and like just the way they made the levels set up, it's like there was pots and stuff. It was just but it was just slightly different that they weren't gonna get sued. Yeah, absolutely.
So it was great. I loved it. I thought it was really cute. And they make a reference to another indie game that I personally like. I've never played it, but I always loved which Papers, Please.
Yes.
Which is a really like interesting and intriguing game.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not my jam because it's like a job.
Is very repetitive for sure.
It's very repetitive, and like there's just so much to think about because you're having to like there's all these rules that you're having to check for each person, and then you've got the added stress of like someone might be a bomber that's coming through your stall, and you might have to shoot someone, or like. Yeah, like some people will plead for you to do it, and so you're like having to deal with like
your personal guilt
of like what would you do, like, but if you do that, then you know that you may risk like getting fired or like not getting paid enough to feed your family.
Yeah,
like it's crazy. But anyway, they had a nod to that and a couple other games too.
I think they mentioned Myst at one point.
Yeah, they said, "What is this, like a Myst puzzle?"
Yeah,
that's funny. I liked it. I was like, "That's great." But
yeah, so that's there is no game. Wrong to mention that was a lot of fun. And most of the rest of the stuff we're going to talk about is actually Disney Plus because we've been trying to catch up on things or whatever. I want to mention that we've been waiting for this documentary for a little bit. It's simply just called Howard. It's on Disney Plus, and it's about Howard Ashman. He was a writer, songwriter, and musician, lyricist for basically three of the most iconic Disney movies in the 90s. And that would be Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and Beauty and the Beast. What was the third one?
Did he do a third one?
Little Mermaid.
Yes.
All three of those.
Yes.
He was basically the impetus or the catalyst behind the amazing songs of that, and it's a story of his life. And they really didn't pull many punches about like what happened to him and all that type of stuff. I thought that was very intriguing because he was a gay man I mean, I don't want to ruin it. I mean, it's not going to ruin it because if you look him up, you'll know. Gay man with that ended up contracting HIV in an era where that was literally a death sentence for a person because they didn't know how to treat it. I mean, it's still scary now, but there are treatments that kind of work and prolong life. Back in this time, there just was not. And this guy was he was also the creator of Little Shop of Horrors.
Yep.
The musical.
The musical. He wrote all the music for Little Shop of Horrors, and and he helped. I think he was partly. Yeah, I think he helped do like some of the either producing or directing for the movie as well.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. He was a very talented guy, but his story is so, I didn't know it was this one guy for those three incredible movies.
I didn't either. Yeah.
So, and like, there's a story in there, and I mean, this might be a spoiler, but obviously one of the most iconic songs, if not the most iconic song of Little Mermaid, was "Part of Your World," and that's such a like when you think of Little Mermaid, I think you either think of Part of Your World or Under the Sea. Those two songs. I think Part of Your World probably a little bit more, especially for little girls, especially who love that movie, because I think it's just such an emotional song in the middle of the movie. But the way they talk about it is just like, man, that song almost didn't make the movie.
Yeah,
which is crazy to me.
Yeah,
because like, how could you listen to that song as a person and just be like, it's not important to the story?
Yeah.
That's kind of Ariel's whole thing.
Yeah, and that's what he was saying, like, because that was the first one that he did with them, and then he kind of gave Disney this thing where it's like everyone has to have their, like, what did he call it?
Want song.
Their want song, yes, like their desire song, kind of, and so they definitely did that, because like even in like Aladdin, like I think it's the one that like Jasmine and him like singing together or whatever, kind of from afar.
Yes.
Kind of talking about what they want. And then Beauty and the Beast, obviously, Belle's
intro song.
Yeah. It's just, so it's kind of crazy. But it's a very interesting documentary. If you're a fan of musicals, like, you'll probably learn some things you didn't know about some of these musicals and stuff. And this guy was just a very interesting, intriguing person and had an interesting personality. And and
I think it also had some footage that surprised us because maybe I just haven't seen the special editions of certain movies or whatever, but I never saw Jerry Orbach doing Lumiere.
No, it was
like
amazing.
In the booth with
it's
Angela
like,
Lansbury.
That's
incredible.
For nothing else, it's just cool to see like the original chick who did Ariel,
Jodie
Benson. Like her singing it like in that, when she did it, and Belle, and also and
it was cool to see
Angela
Howard
Lansbury and him like singing was just like, oh my god.
And they have Howard's tracks of him like voicing it before he got the voice actors. So like you get to hear the original, like what it sound like in his head before he got an actual like the singer actress or actor to do it, which is like crazy just to hear this guy like figure out what the important parts of like Part of Your World is, like hearing how he originally orchestrated it and how it's changed to like the final product. Like it's really, really cool. And we've said this before, I'm not huge on musicals. I'm Disney musicals are different because they're animated movies. I always loved those, but like I didn't grow up on them. That's just me. I don't hate them, but it's not like my preferred method of entertainment, I guess. But like listening, I love behind the scenes stuff, no matter what it is, and hearing the story of this guy and how talented he was and how much he gave to these 3 movies and like what it could have been if he would have, survived or it would lived in an era where that disease was survivable. And to be like such a, it's a great movie. Because, I mean, just the representation of LGBTQ and getting to see, this incredibly talented gay man kind of just, go through these ups and downs, and actually, like, you know, he just gave so much to the talent or the powerhouse that was Disney at the time.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. Pretty wild. Another thing I wanted to mention, we did watch our friend Mick Morgana Ignis is in Earth to Ned, which is a Jim Henson production.
It's amazing.
Talk show, nightly talk show sort of thing. 10 episodes, full puppeteering, full amazing animatronic puppets, and Mick is Morgana is in the suit of Ned, with Paul Rugg as the voice. I think she is piloting it with 2 other puppeteers.
Yeah, I believe it seems like it's kind of like, if you guys watched the behind the scenes of The Mandalorian, you'll know that the Baby Yoda puppet, I think, had like 4 people that puppeteered it, or maybe even 5 or 6. Because like on any given day, like one person would do the gross body movements, which just means like moving his whole body and his arms, and then like because his head is basically like bajillion animatronics, there's like 2 or 3 people that have like antennas, like remote controls, like that are manipulating him to make the eyes move and everything else. And so it seems like this is similar, where the head, like the eyes and the mouth, have a bunch of servos in them, and to do so many different manipulations. So I believe, but we will hopefully have Morgana on soon, so she can talk about it. But I believe she did the gross body movements and the front 2 hands, and then it's an alien, so it has 4 hands, and so there's 2 hands on the outsides, and I think at least it was either 1 or 2 people that did the outside hands, and then there was another guy off screen who did the servos that worked inside the head, and then there's also there's a puppet on the other side that it actually has a person inside of it. Which is, again, like Mandalorian. And actually, I found out, like, looking on IMDb, that the person that is puppeteering Cornelius was Jawa in The Mandalorian, which is dope. I just love that they all just kind of, like, get to circulate and stuff. It's awesome. But I just love that. And so there's a puppeteer on that side. I can't tell. I think maybe it's all done by him. There might be another.
I think the eyes and stuff are servos.
It's hard to know, because some of these puppets, like, could be animatronic, could be not, could be CG. I mean, they're so amazing looking.
I will say the main
so
Ned himself is like incredible.
Oh my God,
incredible looking.
It's insane. Like, I can't imagine talking to this thing that's like probably 10 feet tall or something.
And
like,
you can see
it's crazy.
It's fun to see it on the guest's eyes.
Like
talking to the gigantic alien puppet, talking to Ned, and talking to Cornelius, and
interacting
he's so
with the environment. And then the little, I am obsessed with these freaking little
the clods.
Like, the clods. They're called clods, but they don't really have names. They're just the clods. It's almost like the rats in the Muppets, where they're just kind of everywhere. And some of them have names, and some of them don't.
Besides Rizzo, the only
I'm trying to think if there's any other like way to like
they're kind of
quantify that. Maybe like the chickens in Muppets
they're kind of like
too.
the chickens in the Muppets, and they're also kind of like
where they don't really speak. They kind of speak
Fraggles that are in like Fraggle Rock, like kind of background Fraggles. But they don't have a language. They don't talk. They just kind of have a mumbly like.
But they do kind of say things sometimes, and like, but they are like. They're hideous and adorable, and I love them. And there's a funny thing in one of the episodes. They talk about having Claude T-shirts, and I was telling Morgana, I'm like, can I please? Where can I get?
I need a Claude merchandise of some sort.
I'm like, if they don't make that, I'm gonna make it into a thing.
But that was we were going to support it regardless because Morgana's in it. But it is an incredibly well done show. Like, if you love puppeteering, we're talking about this off mic, but if you love puppeteering, like, how could you not enjoy this show? And again,
like, it's definitely has the heart of a Muppet show.
Yeah, because it's Henson.
And which is amazing. But it's because I love that it's like it's for the whole family. Like, there's nothing really terrible in it. And
there's a couple innuendo things.
There's
but
innuendos,
like,
but that's the thing is like that's the Muppets have always been.
Yeah,
like it's always been like we're gonna wink at the parents a little bit, but the
it's
kids
not
aren't
like
gonna know.
heavy like
Yeah.
innuendo, but it's just enough to be like, oh, I get what you're just trying to say.
Yeah, like there's some funny jokes here and there that are, but like, yeah, I'm so like I'm honored to know someone who was involved in that, and just because like I said, I'm such a huge Muppet Henson kid growing up and love all of that. And obviously like I worked with our friends at Elmwood when I lived in Connecticut, and I did some shorts with them with puppets, and I loved every single second of it because it's so freaking fun.
We still inherited one.
Yeah, I got to keep one. Her name is Gertie. I created a psycho killer puppet woman who stalked people, and they thought it was so hilarious that they just gave her to me when I left, and so she's in my closet. I remember when we moved here, I was gonna I actually filmed like one little thing of her because I like had this like I could still do it someday, who knows? But I had this thing of like her having her own blog about stalking celebrities, and I actually at one point was gonna have her have a board of like different celebrity hair that she had pinned up with like their names on it. I was like, because that was the joke is like I was being interviewed for an apartment, and I started saying that I snuck into people's bedrooms at night and cut off their hair, and I was like, is that weird? Yeah, so
that was incredible.
And it was because I literally like was just saying random bullshit because I was like super nervous because I'd never done any kind of improv before, and I just started saying random shit, and that's what I said, and everyone like kept it together just long enough to where they could cut it, and then everyone started laughing, and yeah, so I have Gertie now. That was her name, Gertie.
We'll have to do something with her at some point. She's been sitting there for
sitting in the
years,
closet forever.
Yeah.
She's like, I need to say something about this. But
she still looks good though.
She does.
We've taken her out before. She looks good still. Surprisingly, the cats have not torn her up or anything, because she is in an area that the cats can get to, but
yes.
They've generally ignored Gertie. Which is fine.
But yeah, go watch Earth Tonight. It's great, and we will have Morgana on soon. We're not exactly sure when, but soon, and it will be amazing because we will ask her all the awesome stuff about working on that because I want to know.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot more stuff. We just wanted to say like it just came out. It came out not against, but it came out alongside Mulan, so it's might have gotten lost for some people, but man, it is really, really good. And it's fun to, it's a good one to watch full through, and then you can have it on in the background, like doing stuff. Like it's a really cool show. Yeah. And they
because they definitely make it have the elements of a late night show where there's some games and
there's some segments.
There's segments,
man on the street segment sort of things.
Yeah, and it's so well written and like so funny, and like I just had so much fun watching it, and I might watch it again before she comes on because it's so cool. So yeah, go check it out, guys. It's awesome.
Yes. All right. Well, the big thing, as I mentioned this week, was Mulan.
Yes.
Movie that was supposed to come out on Rachel's birthday, so we should have watched it in March, but got delayed, much like any other movies. Just wasn't a time to go out into theaters for it and all that type of stuff. Although I would have loved to see this in a theater. I'm so glad.
100%.
I'm just glad I'm able to see it.
Yes.
But yeah, I know the people. $30. It's tough sometimes for certain people. I ended up buying it because I do. My Disney Plus is accessible with my family because there's multiple accounts or whatever, so they're able to watch it too. So it wasn't just buying it for us; I was buying it for us, my niece and nephew. I wanted them to see it and all that type of stuff. Yeah. So it was worth it for me. So somehow, if isn't worth it for you, it isn't worth it for you. It's going to be available on December 30th. Sometime in December, it'll be on Disney Plus for free if you're already on Disney Plus.
I would highly recommend it though. Like it is. I thought it was worth it. It was.
So yeah,
really
non-spoiler review. Were you happy with the take that they gave you?
Yes. I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, I loved that it was because I was never like I liked the old movie, but it wasn't one of my favorites. And yeah, so I don't know what I was trying to say there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't one of my favorites as a kid, but I liked it. But just to see it in like a more dramatic telling and just using like the amazing like wire working martial arts that they had in it, it was just like, it was dope. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
It was really cool, and I thought the costuming was great. Especially for the villain in the movie. And I won't spoil anything.
I mean,
holy
you've seen her in the trailer if you've seen it.
And I love that actress so
too.
much, and she's gorgeous. And like they gave her like the most badass shit to wear, and I was just like, I want to make that. I could never, but I want to. Yeah, it's so good. I just thought it was really, really well done.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they're like the little part of the beginning, like basically the opening scene.
Wait! Before we do that, we'll go. This is going into spoilers.
Yeah,
a little bit.
So yeah.
For if you haven't watched the movie, please go watch it. We would recommend it. I liked it. I don't think I'm gonna go into the I loved it category just yet. I did like a lot of the things, but there are little things. Much like any movie, there are things to improve.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, like you were saying, like Mulan, I liked a lot when I was a kid. Asian characters, Asian like iconography and all that type of stuff in it. But there was something that felt a little bit off about it. There were two amazing songs. Obviously, people love Reflection and Make a Man Out of You or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like those are two iconic Disney songs, right? But I'm okay with it. Like I said, musicals aren't really my thing. So like getting it to be like an Asian like epic seemed phenomenal for me. Mm-hmm. Like I was totally down for that. So I liked it. I thought it was worthwhile watching it, and I'll probably watch it again. But yeah, I'm kind of in the middle. Like I'd give it like a B or something like that. So all right, but from here on out, we're gonna start talking about spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, please pause the episode, go watch it, come back, or pause it, come back to this episode at a later time whenever you finally do watch it for this last part. Or if you don't care about spoilers, then great. Because obviously you've watched Mulan, you kind of get the story beats. But we'll go to some of the more epic things or whatever. So the scene that you're talking about, the opening scene, you kind of see that Mulan has almost special abilities.
Yeah. She knows kung fu. And
Kung Fu Chi.
She's only like 5. or I don't even know, 8 maybe. I don't know how old she was in that first scene.
Yeah.
She was tiny. But yeah, they basically show her like doing all this crazy shit, flipping around and like jumping on the roof and running around and trying to catch this chicken and just breaking a bunch of stuff. But like, I don't know, there was something, I don't know if it was because of the lighting in the scene or what, but like it was just, there was a couple moments where I was like, oh, that looked really fake.
Yeah,
like,
and I don't know if that was because
I don't really know,
like our TV settings or if it was actually how it's shot or like, because sometimes obviously people will have TV settings that make everything look a little bit more fake because of the frame rate and all that stuff. And I don't know if it's that or if it's like up-res to 4K or whatever it is that made it look a little weird. But I do agree with you. It did look a little strange. And I wonder if we were to watch it in a theater on like a projector, if that would have been like masked by like the frame rate or whatever.
Possibly,
you know?
But I mean, at any rate, I don't know. There was something about it that like I feel like could have been a little less crazy. I don't know. I guess they wanted to set up that like, okay, the people in this movie are gonna do crazy flips and shit, and you just need to accept that cannot be done, but they're doing it. Okay?
Yeah, they can do it.
Because there's like shit where they're running on walls and like doing crazy flips through the air and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, you gotta suspend disbelief a little bit.
Yeah.
So I get it, but like, I don't know, there's just like something visually about it that was kind of like, that was kind of weird. But like I said, overall, I thought the story was really well executed. Like, I guess I can see where some people might not have liked the pacing of it, but I appreciated it. I thought it had nice moments where you kind of got a sense of some of the other characters, but again, I think it could have there could have even been more exposition with some of the characters
that's
and stuff too, or like more. I think I would have mainly liked to see more of like her interaction with the other like warriors that that kind of became her like crew.
Yep.
Because there's a good amount, but like I could have even had more because they were such like interesting people in their own right.
Yeah.
Each one of them had their own like quirks and stuff that were fun and interesting, and so like but like I said, overall I really really enjoyed it, and I thought it had a really really good and touching message about like being true to yourself and stuff like that, which I always appreciate for, like, and just as a female, it was,
yeah.
I can't get enough of this empowerment shit, man. I'm loving it. But it, it feels fucking good to see like two badass female characters being badass, and it's just like, fuck yeah, man. Like, that's dope. And like, and just, so it's just inspiring because it's, it's like another one of those things where they're telling the girl she can't do it, and she fucking can do it, man.
Yeah.
And she did it better than them. Like, she's like smarter and knows, like, she's like, I got this, yo. So, I loved it. I really liked it.
On that point that you were talking about, like, that the only problem I have with this movie is that some of the moments, like you said, can be a little bit longer, and I wish they would have taken a little bit more time, because it does feel like as you go through the movie, some of the dialogue and some of the scenes should have been a little bit longer. Like, you should have gotten a little bit more of the side characters, like, Cricket and Yao and all those guys, and obviously I can't remember the names right now because they changed them. But those guys should have been a little bit more prominent in certain montage scenes or whatever it is. A little bit more interaction. They gave you a couple of little things, the ones where they talk about like what's the perfect woman, and like them being afraid of going into the first day of battle and all that type of stuff. You get that a little bit. You see the camaraderie a little bit. But even an extra scene or making those scenes just a little bit longer would have made it feel a little bit better. I will say, like, I love the visuals. The visuals, like you said, look great. I think they really captured Imperial China very well. Or, like, in this type of light, it has to look a little bit more fantastic and a little bit more fantasy to it. And that's kind of how I see, like, old kung fu epics. Like, you've had this stuff that is shot in old, like, temples and all that type of stuff. Like, they did a really good job of that and representing what old China would have looked like, and how that like whole caste system or whatever would have looked like. These guys work in the rice fields and blah, blah, blah. They have their life in this way. And then you get to the imperial city where like the emperor lives, and he has all of these servants and all this gallantry and all that stuff. And then you get to the outskirts of like the deserts and all these places where you're just an open space, an open natural space. I just, I think they did a really good job with the locations in this movie. Yeah,
the cinematography was really well done.
Yeah.
Like some of the like those crazy battle scenes were just like really epic.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
But that also too, like some of the battle scenes are really good looking and all that type of stuff. Like, I wish there was just a little bit longer. Some of the, especially one of the last scenes, right? The scene that's in the trailer, the epic little scene where she runs on the wall. Even that felt a little cut short. And I don't know if you felt like that too, but
a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not even like by that much. You could get like, obviously action scenes go so fast, and you can't really drag them out to be like, unless it's a crazy World War II war movie, you're not going to drag it out to be a 20-minute fight scene or anything like that.
One thing
but, adding another 30 seconds here and there, just like some extra fight choreography or whatever it is, I think that would have helped out. And it just gave you more context for how these guys fight and all this stuff. And even like somewhat the last fight scene. You get a little bit of the balancing act, the wire work with her and Jason Scott Lee's character, but I just wanted to be just a little bit longer. Everything could have, if they added 30 minutes to the end of this movie, to the length of this movie, I think that could have fixed a lot of my issues with the movie. that would have fleshed out some more of the characters. That's the only thing for me. Obviously, I think I know who the answer is, but your favorite character is probably the witch,
Yes.
right? Gong Li.
I mean, I don't know. I think my favorite character is Mulan. She's like my second favorite character. But yeah, I geek out because like I just remembered that actress from Memoirs of a Geisha.
Yes.
Which I loved. Yeah. I loved that movie so freaking much. I haven't seen it in forever. I need to watch it again. But the character she played in that was just like the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I can say is it's like every woman's worst nightmare of a woman who's like
the
extremely
rival.
Gorgeous and extremely like savage and biting and like just like does not give a fuck if she like grinds your heart into the ground. Like she was just ruthless. Like just so ruthless but like amazing. Like you just were like she just commanded. Yeah. She was just like, I'm sorry, what the fuck? Like yeah, well, and that's the thing is like she's like honestly like one of the like, I think she's gorgeous and terrifying at the same time. Just literally like I don't know that I could ever be in a room with her because I would just be like yeah, she's intimidating as fuck. Like and yeah,
she'd ask you like a clarifying question. You're just like I never knew this answer. I've never known. You could be like she could be like how are you, and you're like oh I'm doing good. Are you? I don't know.
No, I'm not.
Just start crying in front of her.
I'm sorry. But no, I mean, she's like I said, she's just a fucking badass. Like, she was a badass in that movie. She's a badass in this movie. I don't think that she's probably like, no, if I'm not like the most like
intimidating,
fucking
woman,
amazing thing on that screen, then I'm not doing it.
That's funny.
Like, I don't know. I haven't. That's literally the only other thing I think I've seen her in. But I just think she's amazing. She's fucking awesome, man. She plays a really good like bitch, basically.
She does.
A really good.
Wrong.
Well, and not even a bitch though, because like a lot of what she's like saying like throughout the film is true to her, because she's like, bitch, you're lying. Like I fucking know you're a woman. Like why are you hiding it from them? You know, like. But at the same time, she's like, I get it. Like I've been treating like a piece of shit too, and you know. And I just liked that little, like, even though you don't get a ton of her either, I would have loved more of her too.
That's the thing. Like, there's characters that are really, really great, and I want more of them. And that's the only thing that I'm harping on is like, give me more of the witch. Give me some of her backstory besides her telling it. Like,
yeah, I would have liked to have known that, like where she came from, or like, because she's a totally new element. Yeah. To this story. Yeah. Like, I almost feel like it
harkens back more to the classic story of Mulan is what I've read, because there was like there's more of a witch spirit character in that legend that they wanted to add back in, because obviously the animated movie wasn't going to do that. Yeah. And they added in while Mushu is hilarious or whatever, like it's not really a thing you can do in live action like that, and to make it feel more serious. Yeah. And that's what they were trying to do. But yeah, no, we talked about it right after the movie. I'm like, I'm totally down to watch a Maleficent style prequel about that character. Yeah. Like, I would love to see how she grew up and how that character came to be and how she gets exiled from her village or whatever it is, because she's been living in exile for however many years. Yeah. Yeah. I would love that. Yeah. Like an anti-hero story about her. But yeah, I thought that was, like you said, she commands the screen very well, and the way that they designed her is just gorgeous. That's like one of my friends. We were playing Star Wars Fallen Order on Twitch, and we were talking about the costumes, and like it's funny that now because we do cosplay a little bit and all that stuff. Not that we know everything, but like there are costumes where we're like, oh, I can see the intricate work that came into this, like the little things that would be annoying to make and like whatever. And you can see, you just see the intricate parts of what comes together for a look. So yeah, everything you see on her is like immaculately done. And
it's just like, because I was telling her, I'm like, I want to cosplay her so bad now, but at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not touching that. I don't think I don't. I'm not. It's because the look I want to do. I mean, when you see it, or if you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know how even. I don't even know where to begin on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's so intricate and crazy, but like, be dope as hell. But yeah, like, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
So I think you guys should at least give it a shot.
Yes.
You may not love it, but it has some really cool action and.
Yeah, and two like they're all
yeah.
really pretty well trained actors in like martial arts, especially Jet Li, Jason Scott Lee, and Donnie Yen. All three of them are incredible, like martial artists. Gong Li's been in great.
Dope in this too. I was like,
oh, Donnie Yen, man! Everything
so
you
good.
see from him is just so good. He's just as good in my eyes. Jet Li's my guy. Like, I grew up on Jet Li. I watched Wong Fei-hung movies like every week or so when I was a kid, and I was just obsessed with him. And I was so happy when he finally broke into American movies, started doing like Romeo Must Die and the Kiss of the Dragon, those types of things. And he was just such a precise fighter, and he does this crazy wire work too. And I was so excited to see him as the Emperor. And they actually gave him a little bit of a fight scene. I totally thought he was just...
It wasn't long enough.
It wasn't long enough,
Yeah,
no.
I was like,
No.
they really needed that to be longer.
Yes, exactly. And he's just great. He also commands the screen because you know he's a great fighter. And then Donnie Yen, you're just waiting for the fight scene where you get to see Donnie Yen be Donnie Yen. And that's what I'm talking about with, like, just giving them an extra, like, even like an extra 10, 15 seconds. Like, couple extra moves, little things here and there. Like, even like I would have loved to see a collaboration. Hey, did they ever fight together, Mulan and Donnie Yen's character? I don't know.
Not
that they
really.
Did. No.
Yeah, because well, they kind. I mean,
I think they were in the same.
they kind of did
area.
it when because he tells her to, like, when they storm the castle or whatever, the Emperor's palace to go cut off the army or whatever. He kind of like
tells her to go on,
sends
but they
her
don't
on.
really
Yeah,
like.
they don't. They kind of split off, and
Yeah.
he's just like, you go to the Emperor because, like.
And that's the thing. Like, I would love to see those collaboration little fights where Jet Li either gets to fight with Mulan or Mulan gets to fight with Donnie Yen's character, Commander Tung. Like, I would just love to see that. We just didn't get some of those things. And I told Rachel this because this is a stupid thing for me, because obviously there's wire work in this movie, and Jet Li grew up like his legend of like how good he was. He starred in Wong Fei-hung, which had a lot of wire work in these old kung fu movies, and I would have loved to give them like that Wong Fei-hung like kick thing, like the signature kick from Wong Fei-hung in the movie for whatever reason. I don't know. I feel stupid for even thinking that they were going to do it, but I just wanted him to do it one time
So cool.
and just give me a callback to that series. But what did you think? Like, I think one of the bigger changes from the old movie to this is that she still does kind of have a romantic interest, but it isn't super explored or jammed in. But they split that character of Li Shang in the first movie into two characters, which were Donnie Yen as the general or commander of that unit, and then to Hung Hui, who is like a what is the word? A colleague in the army.
Yeah.
What did you think of that though? Did you have any thoughts on how they split that up? Like, does it feel better for you? Like,
Well, I like I said, it has been. I don't know that I've rewatched it since I saw it as a kid, so like I don't have a ton of memory about it. Like literally, I thought, like, I mean, yeah. So the general was the guy that she was in love with, basically.
Yeah, in the original movie, it's like he's like the commanding
Yeah.
officer. He doesn't look much older than her, but he's the commanding officer. So it is to introduce that in this movie would feel problematic.
Yeah,
because
weird,
like having a young girl who goes in the army fall in love with her commanding officer. Come on, let's not do that trope. Again.
Yeah.
But I thought they handled the young colleague character pretty well. They started in such a.
I love that character. Yeah. I loved their story.
Their
together.
dynamic goes really well. I
And
think
I actually
that that like power becomes respect sort of thing helps out. And like I said, there was just a little bit. I wanted just a little bit more to like flesh out that they finally do respect each other and like all that type of stuff. I think that you get it, but
yeah, and that's the thing that like I said, I mean, I feel like I've been I've been saying this a lot lately. Yeah. I mean, just because I think I said it about Star Wars, and I've said it, I think, about a couple other, like, I forget if it was just Disney related things or just things in general, but like, I just feel like for some reason it's like Disney used to do like romances a lot.
Yeah.
And like, not like, like let's make out, but like at least like kiss or something. But it's like lately it's just been like, they've been like so like, I don't know, adverse to it or something. Like, I mean, they give you something in Star Wars, but like to me, it's not what I wanted. I wanted that Rey and Finn to end up together, because that made way more sense than what happened in the movie to me. That, like, you know, I mean, I get it from a storytelling standpoint, but like, she has way more like history and like friendship and camaraderie with him than this asshole. Like, so yeah, that just didn't make sense to me. But anyway, but I just like, I don't know. I just kind of wish that they had shown that they were gonna get married or something, or that they were like loved with each other or something. I don't know.
Do you think that little hand touch was enough to tell you like they do love each other?
But like,
and they haven't gotten to that point yet. And I think that made sense for me because they didn't really like show them be romantic up until that point.
Yeah.
So it's a good start instead of like, oh, we finally said we liked each other, so let's make out like immediately.
Well, yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's not what I'm saying.
Like, I get it.
I just wish that there had been a little bit, even if they just hugged or something.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's like, yeah.
I thought it was true to the character. For me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there is a point to be like, not every story has to have a romantic twist to it.
Mm-hmm.
This one did because the original did, and I don't know if the legend has one or at all. But like, I think that, you know, I like I said, that relationship itself also could have benefited from like one extra scene, because you get a couple of good ones here and there. Like some of those camaraderie scenes would have been great to see more of him idolizing her and that sort of thing. And I just thought it was great. I thought they did a good job of splitting that character. I didn't miss Mushu at all. No. I like that character. I like that movie, but like, I don't really care to have that type of comic relief. I think the comic relief came from the couple of friends in the crew, which I thought was great. I thought that they did a really good job of that. What was I gonna say? I think, you know, some of the criticism is, you know, some people just don't like remakes, right? Mm-hmm. Or like they have a certain idea in their head of how this movie should go, and it kind of veers a little bit away from that, gives you a little bit of love from the old movies, and then veers back into like the legends. And also some of the criticism is like, you know, I think they would have obviously benefited from Asian writers, an Asian director that could have maybe gave you more cultural touchstones for the story. I know they probably did their research, but there is something to say to have at least one person on the staff maybe who is an Asian person who could, you know, help you with like, hey, maybe don't lean into this, lean into this part or whatever, like just little things here and there. But they are, you know, that's done and done. I can't do anything about that. But if that happens again, you know, like that's the thing. Mm-hmm. And I was telling my sister this, like, it's impactful for me personally to see mainstream movies and popular big budget movies like this that have this type of cast and representation, right? Like, we don't get a ton of Asian legends on the screen unless it's from China or whatever, and like, you don't get that for Asian Americans to have that representation of our culture and our faces and that sort of thing, to see them on screen. So that's important to me. Now, do I think that is a perfect movie? No. I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. I liked it. I'll watch it again. But it could have been maybe even better. Because even like I read an article or saw something the other day that the person who did the designs, while the clothing is fantastic, like they did their research in museums in Europe or something like that, rather than going to China and like doing research on historical items from China and fabrics and that sort of thing. Like, it's just interesting that some of those things didn't get touched on when it is so important now. But
I mean,
I'm not gonna
to just to like, I mean, it's not that it's like, I'm not trying to defend this person.
no.
But like, unfortunately, because of imperialism, England did like
Yes.
was a big part of China for quite a while, and
There are a lot of...
And unfortunately, because of, like I said, because of them being, imperialist assholes, they took a lot of things.
Yeah, there are a lot of things.
They have a lot of historical artiefacts in their museums.
You're not wrong.
That's all I'm
You're
saying.
not
Like
wrong.
they had, like, kind of, it showed up in Black Panther. Like it's true. Like I've been to England. I've been to a few museums. Like I've been to the British Museum, and they have the Rosetta Stone. They have like tons of Egyptian artifacts and stuff like that, because they just were like, oh, I like that. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm taking that with me. And so like there is a lot of like authentic Asian shit in Britain, and almost there might be more there.
Yeah, there might be.
So like that. I mean,
so maybe it's
So I'm just saying it's not a great like. Yeah, she probably should have at least maybe go to England and then also make a trip to China.
Yeah.
And like actually talk to some Chinese people, and like, or like, I don't know. And that's another thing too, is like it could have been access, or like,
that's the thing. And
budgeting,
we have a complicated,
who knows like how like that all came to be.
We have a complicated relationship with China, right? Like who knows what they would have given us too.
That's the thing, is it's
and
like
I don't know those things.
Yeah.
So for me to say that that's exactly right, would they like that they have to go to China to do that? Obviously, I think they should, but who knows if that's logistically even possible? I don't know that. Maybe it is, and that is a problem. So I'm not gonna say for me, I was just like,
it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate. But
to the naked eye, it looks not the greatest look. Is all.
But
that's where I lie on it, at least. But yeah, no,
but at the same time, like if I were like, if I were a a costume designer, and someone came up to me and was like, I want you to do like, an Asian or African or whatever inspired movie, I would just be like, okay, either no, or like hire me and someone from that culture, so that like we can collaborate on it together. Because it's like she obviously like knows her shit, and she's the costumes looked really beautiful, and like there's no question that they were like very detailed and authentic, and like the armors were so intricate.
Armors were great,
and everything. So it's not to say that like she's not talented, but they're also, it wouldn't have hurt to have been like a staff of people that like, which she could have had. I don't know, but
well, no, until there's like a special features or something, who knows what went into that process.
I mean, because like I'll say Disney hasn't had a great history of being culturally sensitive.
Yeah.
But they have made great strides.
Yeah.
With like more modern movies, like Coco. Like Coco was phenomenal, and so I'm just saying, like, I don't know that I would like totally throw Disney under the bus.
No.
I
wouldn't.
Like,
I'm not saying like. I don't want it to come across like, oh, like fuck this movie because they didn't like have Asian American writers. I just think they would have benefited a lot from having an Asian American director, or an Asian director, Asian writers, like somebody in the room to just kind of like tell you why this part of the story is important, why this framing of the character is important. I just think they were missing some panache, because there's something about, I don't know, it was something, I was talking to my sister about it, and like there was a feeling I got when I came out of Crazy Rich Asians that I felt very, very represented. And while this one did feel like you have all these amazing Asian actors that I've revered for years, there was something missing coming out of the movie. Not a ton, but there was something missing. And it could have brought me to that feeling again if they had done that with the staff. But yeah, no, I don't regret watching it, and I'm not gonna not recommend it to people because I thought it was fun. I thought it was really, it's a different take on what that story is, and it makes me intrigued to actually go back to the history and actually read the actual legend, because I don't think I've ever done that even after the first movie. But yeah, and it kind of like made me want to revisit a lot of older kung fu movies. Like I want to watch my Wong Fei-hung movies again and get to see those again and see how they looked and how they accomplished that. I do think one other thing is just a snafu, and I don't know. I can't imagine. I don't think it's intentional, but also it's like also one of those things that wasn't a good look. You know, the Chinese translation for the movie is like not available yet still, which is kind of like, okay, most of these movies, especially movies like this, I want to be able to show my parents.
Yeah.
Because like, oh man, Hollywood's finally doing Asian movies. Like, let's let the whole family watch and let my parents be able to read the story and all that type of stuff and like actually participate. Like they can get it from here and there, but like if it starts moving fast, just like if you were watching like an any other language movie, if they didn't have subtitles, like there's no way for you to catch up. I know a little bit of Spanish, but I can't watch a Spanish movie the entire way through and get the entire emotional gravity of it when I don't have something to like. It's so that when I don't have 100% grasp of the dialogue. Yeah. You know. So that's unfortunate. Hopefully that gets corrected. I don't know if it's corrected now. I haven't looked, but yeah, that's a kind of an oversight.
Is it just that it's not dubbed yet, or they don't have the subtitles?
The subtitles aren't available, which is not good. Not good. Yeah. But yeah, I still, I was kind of hoping. I know this would add way too much to the cost. I was kind of hoping they would shoot the movie like all the scenes twice or something, somehow where they could have done an entirely Chinese version of the movie. I would have loved that.
Yeah, that's the tough part, and that's how I felt about Coco, because I know that like Coco could have, and I know that they did record a lot of the songs in both languages and stuff like that for Coco.
But I think at least in animation you can dub it pretty well, and stuff.
Yeah, but yeah.
Anyway. That's pretty much all I had to say about Mulan. I think, I would have benefited from 30 minutes more.
Yes.
I'm glad you loved it. I liked it too. I don't really have that many complaints. It's just little things. There's little tweaks. Every movie has little tweaks. But yeah. Next, I don't know what the next thing is. Like the James Bond trailer came out. I'm so excited. I know you watched it. You were kind of amped on it too.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Just the visuals of that. I'm so excited to see that. I know that Tenet came out. I don't really care that much. I mean, I get it. I will watch it at some point because it's a Nolan movie. I think it's, it's probably going to be good. I don't know. I know you don't.
I've never really liked any Christopher Nolan movie. I just haven't. I don't.
It's there's people that will like, I don't know. I'm never going to be like, oh, I can't believe you don't watch any Christopher Nolan movies. There are just things that people just don't dig. Like, it's a style. It's a stylistic type of movie that it's for a specific type of moviegoer. And it hits a lot of my buttons.
And then it's just, like, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's like, it's not that I don't, like, that I don't enjoy or, like, appreciate a movie that is complex or that has, like, things that are maybe a little out there or obtuse or whatever, because I get like that it's an art form, and sometimes they don't want to explain everything, and not everything has to have the ending that you think it should, and sometimes things can just be what they are, and that's awesome. But like, there's some movies that I'm just why, like, it is so overly obtuse. Like,
well, that's the thing. Like,
why? It hurts my brain. I can't. I'm just like, no,
as a person who's trained in dance, right? You've done modern dance,
yes,
which can go from any range of absurdity to like really beautiful flowing stuff.
Exactly.
Like, or not. I won't say like beautiful flowing stuff. Like,
well, it's like I said, it's like any other art medium, like film and painting and digital media and and dance. Like, dance is like so vast in what it is and what it isn't, and like it's just because I mean I could go on for like hours about it because I fucking studied it in school and I know way too much, But
we gotta get another dance major in here so you guys can talk dance, and I can I can ask you guys rudimentary questions about it.
Yeah, I know a lot about.
I get
dance,
what you mean, like,
but because it's like there's there's avant-garde dance, which like I learned some. I took a whole like course basically about like this time in history in the 60s where people were just experimenting with fucking everything. They were experimenting with drugs. They were experimenting with music. They were experimenting with like with art and what art was, and performance art was a big thing. Like, and I'm using air quotes, performance art, because it's this wide range of things. It could just be someone standing on a stage yelling.
Well,
It could be And there were pieces like this. What Chris is gonna talk about is there was a piece in a show that I was in that was a modern show, which it can mean anything. Like, you never know like what people are gonna submit, and a lot of times, if it is a true modern show, they're just gonna put in like they're like, that's pretty dope, that's crazy, but that's also pretty dope, and that's cool. And like, so it's gonna be a range of a bunch of random shit, and some stuff is gonna be very lyrical and like traditional dance, like what you think of as dance, and some of it is gonna be a woman walking around the stage with headphones on, throwing trash on the ground, and that is it's valid. It is like that is literally
there's little bits of things like that piece that I always go to is such a strange piece, but now that I'm like going back and thinking about it, it's like, okay, she had a piece of music playing. Just to explain to you guys what I saw on the stage, there was a piece of music playing for us as the audience, and she was listening on her headphones to a different piece of music and dancing to that. Yeah,
and it was loud, and like you could definitely hear it like coming out of her headphones, so you knew that she was listening to something else.
So it was interesting, but for me as a non-dance person, it's hard for me to understand what I'm trying to get out of it. Yeah. So that's the thing about art. But that's
the thing is you still remember that. I bet you don't. I mean, I'm sure you probably remember bits and pieces of my piece, but I think you probably remember that piece more than you remember my piece. Yeah. And my piece was like I still even don't remember a lot of doing it, and I was in it. Like, I remember like it had pedestrian parts to it because it was called Cityscapes. So it had some like literally just walking around parts. Yeah. But then there were parts that were very traditional modern dance, and there were turns and spins and flips and catching each other and doing crazy stuff and more very physical things. Yeah. But then there were also pieces that were very pedestrian.
Yeah, like, and that's
different.
I mainly make the point. Yeah. I mainly make the point about dance is just to say art in general of anything is very subjective to the viewer.
Exactly. Yes.
So even if our opinions are going to be different than anyone else's opinion about Mulan. There's going to be something about Mulan that we loved that somebody else hated. Yeah. And like, you wish there was a romance, somebody wishes they didn't have a romance at all. Yeah. Somebody wishes that Li Shang was still the protagonist and it was a traditional romance without a commanding officer. Yeah. Like, there's
someone wishes there, like, I know a lot of people were like, why isn't it a musical anymore? Yeah. Which I got a little bit too, but I was like, yeah, sometimes I just don't need the songs. Like, it's just a cool story on its own. Like, you don't need it. So like art is very, very subjective to anyone, and so so that's why it's like, obviously some film is gonna be like weird, and Nolan's got his stuff, and that's awesome, and like some of it does look amazing. Like, I'm not gonna deny that, like, the visuals of his movies are incredible, but just the storylines and stuff are a little just too crazy for me.
I get it. It's fine.
It's awesome, and I appreciate it, and I think it's great, but I don't like it.
Like I said, that's all I was saying. That's all I was driving at. Yeah. But anyway, we'll be around. Just saying. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of the week. We will start watching and tuning into more things. Hopefully we'll contact a couple of friends here to get on as guests. I know it's been a tough couple of months to be like, I don't know. I just always feel bad about contacting people when it's like, I don't know, let's go chat, and then we'll just record it. I don't know.
We shouldn't, because it's like that's a
That's probably the
natural
best
thing
part,
for us
yeah.
to be doing right now, because we,
There's nothing else going
yeah,
on.
like we literally can't see each other face to face, so we should just be having conversations,
Yeah.
and so that we can stay sane.
So we'll try to do more.
Yeah, so we do have several people that we want to get on, just to talk about things that they're working on, or just things that they have done in the past that are
or
awesome.
just generally hang out.
Just general stuff. Yeah. One thing I was going to mention, which I don't think we mentioned in the last episode, was did we talk about the Henry Stickmin game?
I think we did. We did a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so just it was on my mind again. But definitely go check that out if you haven't, because it's freaking hilarious, and it references so many different other games. It's a point and click adventure-ish game with it's like a choose your own ending book. It's really fun.
With relatively simple animation, but also very fun animation.
Yeah, it's simple.
Because I think it started as like a Flash game sort of thing, a Flash site thing. Kind of like Homestar Runner.
I think so. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yep,
check that out. That's the last recommendation of the night.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys have a great week, great time. We'll talk to you guys soon. Go forth and be nerdly, and we will talk to you later.
Bye.
Hey everyone, if you like this episode or any of the episodes that we've had, please do us a favor and go on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher and write us a review, and just subscribe to us on any of the platforms that you have. You can follow us on our social media at The Nerdlies, pretty much everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and what's the words? Instagram, YouTube. You can find us on YouTube, The Nerdlies. We do need more subscribers on that so we can lock in our channel and stuff like that. Rachel's social media is
Lady Raygun, LADYRAEGUN.
Yeah, on Twitter, Instagram, and she has a Patreon account.
Yes.
That we are still shooting stuff for.
And also I have a Facebook. I don't have a Facebook anymore, but I have a Facebook page that is Lady Raygun Cosplay if you want to check that out.
Yeah, and that's also facebook.com/Lady Raygun. But yeah, come follow us and do all the things. We'll see you soon, and thank you so much for supporting the show.
Thank you.
Bye. Go forth and be nerdy.
Who are we? Don't be sure you ever heard you see. It will be in your eardrum like an infectious beat. We complete. They like when the short and long hear me. Cause we the nerdlies, the nerdy. Who are we? Don't be sure you ever heard you see. It will be in your eardrum like an infectious beat. We complete. They like when the short and long hear me. Cause we the nerdlies, the nerdlies.